It's a beautiful gift from God meant to bring a husband and wife closer together. In the Bible, 1 Corinthians 7:35 emphasizes the importance of mutual consent and fulfilling each other's needs. It's clear that intimacy plays a crucial role in a healthy, godly marriage. Now, why is regular sex so important? For one, it deepens emotional bonds. When couples share this intimate experience, it fosters a sense of unity and trust. It's a way to reconnect and reaffirm your love for each other, even in the midst of life's chaos. Sex also has incredible benefits for your overall well-being. It releases endorphins, reduces stress, and can even improve your mood. In a Christian marriage, it's a way to celebrate the love and commitment you've vowed to each other, reinforcing the sacred bond you share. But let's not forget communication. Regular intimacy encourages open dialogue about desires, boundaries, and any concerns you might have. It's an ongoing conversation that can strengthen your relationship both in and out of the bedroom. Of course, every couple is different. What's regular for one might not be for another, and that's okay. The key is finding a rhythm that works for both of you, honoring each other's needs and boundaries. Remember, it's not just about frequency, but also the quality of your connection. So, if you find yourselves drifting apart or feeling disconnected, consider making time for intimacy. It's not just a physical act, but a spiritual and emotional one too. Embrace it as a way to grow closer, deepen your love, and honor the sacred bond of marriage. Thanks for tuning in. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.
Well, thank you for again. We want to thank God for this opportunity. Welcome to again another uh, bright and kind of rainy day to here in New Jersey, and I want to thank God for another opportunity given to us, and it's so blessed to be alive, and I want to say a good shout to those of us who understand what it means to be alive, and knowing that we all are in this together. And again, I want to say, couples, those of us who are actually in relationship, as you talk about, this great topic today, communication, which is very key to any relationship. It's a blood stream, man, and it's so important to discuss these kind of topic. And I want to welcome married couples all over the world, wherever it you are. I want you to know that you might be going through a difficult time, a tough time in your relationship, and you want to give up. Yes, it's not going to be easy, but God is going to take you through. I want to again send a shout to all of us, those of us who will be listening, those of us who will watch this tip. Uh, we need to realize that why we must value communication in marriage, in relationship, whether you're building up a relationship, whether you probably have come up with a relationship and maybe you have some downfall, uh, and you want to give up. I want to encourage you, because the foundation, which is in Genesis chapter 2, we will be dwelling on that a little bit. When you begin to look at Genesis chapter 2, verse 18 to 25, and then you will understand the foundation of marriage. And then you come to First Corinthians 11, and then you start to read from verse 3, and then you go to verse 11 and 12. You will realize that, well, it was commended for us, and it is a good thing to have a husband, it's a good thing to have a wife. you know it's just a cherishing kind of thing that God made. But in most cases it become now like, well, no need to get married, right? And I can remain like that, and I enjoy my life, I like to be single. People have their own views about whether they want to be single. And you know it's good. And I just want you to understand that every time when we talk about marriage. And this one is actually going to all my friends, those of us who are in marriage, and those of us who look at and listen to this music. I love this music because it it brings back to us, who did you see? How did you see your wife? How did you find your wife? And you know, a special treatment to all the married couples in the world, and those of us who are wishing to get into it. God bless you. Okay, God bless you. Have a good time and enjoy yourself this good afternoon or the word. Uh, you don't know what God was thinking when He made that special one, and He created that person just because, well, it was because of you. And so I love this music because it gave us an scene of appreciation to God first. What God was thinking when He created you as a man, what God was thinking when He created you as a woman for that special person. Probably maybe you are dating somebody, then well, in Christendom, and we believe co-shipping, we believe we can start talking about our future. So you might be looking at that person and say, I don't know what God was thinking. Oh my God. Sometimes when our wife will lying down on the bed, I'm not talking about where somebody is just trying to use manipulate you. Not manipulation, no. I'm talking about real love. So, when you begin to listen to the music, the message in the music, and understand it, what is that person? The question that comes to your mind is the person really? You know, it's a kind of, you know, it's so enjoyable when you meet up with your partner. And I don't know who is listening to me tonight or this morning, wherever you are. I want to send this special one to all married couple. Except you didn't tell your wife, except you didn't tell your husband. Lord, I didn't know what God was thinking when He made you. I don't know what God was thinking. I'm this week going to great Apostle Rookie. I love these couple that they got old in the ministry and they stayed in the ministry. And not forgetting Bishop Awoli and all the great guys who and his pastors, Brother Roger and all of us. What God was thinking when He made those guys. And you start to think about that. Whether you got into marriage before and you still love this person, and probably, or maybe there was some downfall and something happens. There's something about that lady, there's something about that girl, there's something about that man that your eyes is going to. No matter what, the enemy says, it was a reason why, God made that person. What God was thinking when He made you. Jesus. When He created that man, that woman. And I want to thank God, and this special treat is going to all of us in the world. Whether uh, you got married and you got broke up, man, there's some reason. No matter what, God is going to make your dream come true. And this one is going to all of us, whoever that is planning a special wedding coming up everywhere in the world. This message, this music is for you, because you are looking at that pattern and say, I didn't know what God was thinking when He made you, because of the beauty, because of the handsomeness, or because of the good way. And now you found your partner. And I want to say, God bless you. Those of us who have found your partner and you see that person to be your left partner, well, take it easy. Then, as we discuss this topic today, then talk about how can we walk into a relationship and understand that it is God's will. It could be God's will. It could be, that maybe God did not say it, or probably, it was like, God was saying it and we didn't understand it. And I want to say to you, man, welcome again to this wonderful time here, family, Christian family marriage and intimacy. Here we talk about how do we love our wife, how do we love our husband, how do we raise our children, how do we also develop mental well-being, how do we take care of ourselves, and how do we go about making a really, really family when it comes to Christian family, marriage, and intimacy. What is the word sex in your relationship? Intimacy. What is the relationship with your spouse? Have you realized that is why many broken. Many marriages are broken today because, well, they have not realized that something could be the cause. And I want to thank God for you guys, man. And as we talk about this issue, as we talk about good things, talk about communication, why we must value communication in marriages and and then with our children. Sometimes we don't communicate with our kids. We don't even tell them what decision we are making, and we make decision based on how we feel about the situation, and those decisions will affect the children. Those are all factors that build up the relationship. It affects our children, especially when the children are young and don't know what's going on into that relationship. And I want to welcome you again to of this special time here. And I just want to say you are blessed, and remember that special person, and say you don't know what God was thinking when He created her, and everything about him or her is just like what your dreams have come true. God bless you, man. And let's talk about it a little bit. When we talk about the dream that you had, well, how many of us know? I'm so excited about looking at what God said in the very beginning, and believing God to take us there. I don't know where you are. I don't know who you are. I don't know what is going on in your marriage, but I do know without a doubt that there's something about your relationship that makes you, as you listen to this song, that you will say, "Oh, I don't know what God was thinking when He created you, my friend." Because it was just what I was praying for. It was just what I needed in my life. I went through a lot, and I prayed that God give me this kind of man, give me this kind of husband, give me this kind of wife. So, in other words, to build up our relationship with God, we need to understand that there are a couple of things that we need to take into consideration. The fact that we need to build it with the Christian principle and doctrine of the foundation according to the Word of God. So when we talk about, you know, Christian family, marriage, and intimacy, we lay emphasis on the fact, that, you know, we are family. How can we build a real Christian marriage with our children smoking, drinking, and their life is just miserable? Are they Christians? Many of us built our life because the way we started with our children, we started with them, in the ghetto. We started with them, start drinking. We didn't come to Christ at the time, and well, the communication between the children and us was very far because communication is in terms, not only just to speak to people verbally, but the way their life you live also communicates something to them. Communication is very key to any relationship in building a Christian home and family. There are people that you see every day. When you look in you look in their face, you know that they are being controlled or influenced by the devil. They have been influenced by the devil, especially the young people, young children. They get into marriage very soon. They get into life very soon, and their life is miserable in the next while they stay in their teens. But it comes from the foundation. So when we look at the real foundation of marriage, when it comes to Genesis, and see what the Bible speaks about, when it comes to the foundation in Genesis chapter 1, and then you look at 26 to 28, and then you look at Genesis chapter 1 verse 18, you see also what was God thinking. Hmm. So that was the first marriage. If you look at the first command of God, if God pictured all the relationship within the Trinity, right? We read in Genesis chapter 1, verse 26. He said, "Let us make man into our image and a likeness." So, in other words, God speak in terms of the Holy Spirit, Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and then in oneness. Let us make man into our image. The image of God was so is a picture us to be second God, to have authority over the fish of the earth, not over the dogs. But now you see, dog is having relationship with human being. Can you see where the water's going? So what am I saying? I'm saying the Bible said, "Let us make man, female and male." Right? Well, we can turn it into something else because that is the influence of the word. That is the perception. That is our emotions. And so, what am I saying? What is the foundation? It has a foundation. So Christianity, we believe that man, wife, right? And no matter whether you become polygamist, okay, promiscuous, or probably you like too much, little girls, and you want to be like the other guys. No matter whether you want to choose two, three, four, five women, the point is we female and male. That's what the Bible says. And anything that trying to impure or to cancel or to erase that particular foundation, it means that you are telling God that I want to do it. God, you didn't do it right. God, you didn't do it right. Let me choose. I want to. I was made as a woman. I want to be a man. Or probably I was made as a man. I want to be a woman. So you are telling God, well, I didn't tell you to make me a man. I should have come as a woman, right? And I don't think, God, you are right when you say, male and female. I can be a male. I can turn to a female, right? And then you're telling God, God is not a God you can follow. So when we look at the foundation of where we are in our contemporary time, somebody was speaking today, and on the social media, we need to take over. I'm going to be preaching tomorrow on men as an influential being. Okay, and I want us to look at the foundation. Let us look at the foundation of marriage. Christians understand what it means to marry, right? To bring up a family, Christian family, right? And if if we look at the family setting, if we look at the probably the setting of family, how family relationship bring up how people grew up, what is the those different principles. Why should we have a standard for our children? Why it is necessary to live a better life so that they can see us and live like us. How many of us want our children to go in the ghetto, to go to take drugs? See how many children today are being destroyed. Their mind is not right. Sometimes we as pastors and leaders, sometimes we just got to listen to them because you can see that, they're not going the way they should be going. But we need to pray for them because if they will become the future Christian marriage, Christian family, let's look at the family setting. So communication, which is very important and crucial into marriage, is served as a kind of role model. After role model, in other words, if you lack communication, then of course you are telling maybe your children or your wife, I want you to also lack communication. Now the reason why I play that music is because, and I love that music because I want us to have some reflection, not on the music, but I want us to have a reflection on the fact that the first day we met with this guy, or we got married, or before we got married, I know we were saying, I don't know why God was thinking when He made this man. It was like He was thinking about me because I just got in at the right time, or what God was thinking when He made that woman. He said because of me, because I got her at the right time. But then at the end of certain time, you start to change your perception of you as a woman, start to change and look for a different man, and you say, well, God, you were thinking the wrong way, right? Or probably you start to treat your husband the way you feel and never have any conscience. You see, as we build a relationship, communication I talk about is very crucial to any relationship. It's a block. It's something that you cannot do away with as couple. I'm talking about constructive couple, people who understand what it means to get married. There are people still going through some difficult situation. They have not gotten into any relationship because some of them will say, "Well, about lucky, I don't know." But really, what make communication is very important because communication is not just a tool; it is a lifeblood of love. Hmm. A relationship without honest, consistent communication is like a house built on a sand, and that is truth. So we don't build that on communication. Our love is not built on communication. It means that there's something honorably, there's something about your lifestyle, there's something that you're trying to hard, there's something that you're doing you don't want for the next person to know. How can you justify a wife or probably a prospective husband or whoever? It's just having some time, have spare time only when they're ready to call you or when they feel like calling you. Hmm. When someone only uses communication to pretend, to keep up appearances, or to manipulate emotions, they are building, they are not building love. They are building illusion. Real love shows up in the small conversation, in the ability to sustain, in the ability to listen, express, and work through hard truths. So you cannot look up to that kind of relationship because there's nothing solid to admire. Communication. So as we begin to look at communication to be the key to any relationship, even when it comes to partnership, we need not to waste our time. When I say need not to waste your time, is that let us not waste our time on something that we know is not building us up, it's tearing us down. Or else it better to be lonely and thinking, meditating upon the word of God, than to be with someone who causes you to worry about issues, who are tormenting you, who will cause you mental problem. It's better. They are not communicating, no communication, what well, hello or whatever. That is not a relationship. That is not a relationship to rely on. So in what we're discussing, once you are building a Christian relationship, I'm not talking about the word, I'm not talking about the secular, I'm not talking about people who don't even want to even hear the word Jesus. I'm not talking about people who don't want to know God. Okay, we need to keep praying for them, but I'm talking about people who are Christians or who want to be Christians. These are principles that help us to develop our families. These are principles that help us to guide our children. Because as we see it in the West, we come to places all over the place. You can see when you allow your child to yell or to shout at you, and when you tell them this is what I want you to do, they shout at you. They go out to different places. Some people don't see their children for many days. So we can't build Christian family like that. We got to communicate with our kids, and they got to understand us. They got to hear our voice. They got to know that we're directing them the right path. They got to know that we are their parents, and we're not going to send them places. We make good for them and not evil. So in order for us to build the relationship, let's go back to God and look at what God said to us. He said, have dominion, replenish. Let us make man. Let us make male and female. And so when we start, turning our back on God and say, well, I can make myself, or I can terminate God's plan and make my plan. Hmm. Those are things that happen. I can terminate my plan and make God plan. And so when we think about, people I buy muffin others, they don't know the relationship you belong to, where you come from, how you feel about life, why you want to remain as you are sometimes. You just don't want to get in people's life, because if you look at their own foundation and see their children, you see, let us be very frank. This is not about, well, okay, I just want to get into the relationship. You know very well those children in that relationship will not accept you. They might not accept you. They might get vexed with a mother or father because, well, the life they live, they don't want you as a Christian father or mother to intrude into the relationship between their father and you. So, as we talk about looking at the foundation, why it is true nobody did wrong. You never did wrong to tell your kids to go to the street or find something else. Everybody got those problems. But listen, we cannot build a Christian relationship up with a woman who still want to be on the street. We can't build a Christian relationship up with a man who like to go out to take drugs. We can't build that Christian relationship with them, because why? Because they were damaged. Their mind is not in the perspective sense, taking substances that will destroy them. And so when your children comes around to see that kind of man, what happens to you as a woman who say you are a Christian? So there are many things going on today that people don't realize, that in this communication that we're having, we are not communicating well with the spouse, the one we want to bring into our homes, the one we want to talk to, and we are not looking at backgrounds and some of the things. We are not even doing our spiritual mapping. So when we get into the relationship, we're only thinking about ourselves. We're not thinking about all the things that are connected to that woman that will cause you guys not to make it, that will cause you to get vexed and say, I'm walking out of home, but you got into the marriage. So, in other words, to build a Christian relationship, you must begin with the family, with the children. If I have a bad case, I don't think you want life, because you would think that my case will not actually be cope with what I'm doing, or what you're doing. They may not listen to you because you are a spiritual person. So what the enemy does is that it influences that child or the children to keep you as a man from their mother. Single mother may be looking for somebody, but she got children who are disrespectful. So we don't know what's happening. We don't know what is behind. Sometimes we say, oh, anytime I've got into a relationship, the man will leave me, and maybe the children are disrespectful to the guys that come around. And the fear of any man, respect. That's what we want. Peace. So anything that we are trying to hinder our peace, we're not going to go into it. Because you see, I'm talking real communication. We don't communicate. We just want to just get into life because going to bed. We don't communicate. We don't want to get the information we need from the woman or the man. Oh, look, how your children, let me know them. What is this? Start communicating with them. And there should be some level of understanding. And that's why communication is so played a very key role into any relationship. Very key role. And it better to be alone than to get in a house full of strife and jealousy and envy, where you guys gonna be fighting, where you guys gonna be gossiping and lying, and the children gonna get into your marriage only because of your relationship, because what happened, they don't want for that woman who thinks she can pray too much, or who can speak to them for their life to be better. So most of the kids who probably came up very bad, and sometimes they don't want for their father to get in the life of a woman who want to have some peace, who want to have a good guy. So Christian family must build relationship based on communication first. Communication means you got to know, communicate with this person, some level of, the kind of communication we're talking about shouldn't base only on going to bed. And that's what many marriages are failing. All of us have these issues. We see this girl beautiful on the street. We see her, oh, everything, but we don't know what's behind that. We see this person, they got the kind of car they ride, the kind of house they have. Oh yeah, we don't know what behind that. So communication play a very crucial role in any relationship. It better you eat your dry rice. It better that you live in one room. It better you be, somewhere than for you to get in the midst of a family that don't love, that have a different perspective, different way of thinking, different relationship with God. Those are things that you put in order. This is not about, a kind of love. I love you. This word love is one thing, but at the end of the day, you are carrying it backward because the communication is not clear. It's not consistent. It's not friendly. It manipulating. That means you only come out to show up yourself. Oh, I like you. You think I don't love you? I call you. I talk to you. And I love you. That's why I call you. No, that is not the only thing. And so we need to realize that in the middle of everything we do in our life, whatever things that comes out, we must present ourselves. We're listening today talking at the men's meeting right there in RCCG, Shiloh, and that meeting was it is a very constructive meeting. Influence of man. How can we influence? How can we be influential in society? Influence not only, well, you have everything. How can we dominate? And there were a lot of stuff, man. So we are thinking that how can we control this thing, but we have been given the authority to do it, but we are lacking it because what happens? We are not having the foundation. We have somebody in our life that we are not communicating consistently to understand their mind and to know how to feel about us, to know what is the relationship between they and their fathers and their parents and where they come from. You got to know all these things because it affects the marriage in the long future. It may not affect it in the initial time, maybe. So communication is so essential. If this person will understand you and you will understand you guys love each other, well, sometimes you got to talk about these things. You got to know their children. The children got to love the person. You got to make them love the person. You got to make them to feed that sense of love, and there should be a prayer for that. Because you can't be divided as a Christian family because you have your kids before this person have their kids, and now you're coming together. In order for you guys to build the relationship up together. So in order for us to be not just righteous, we're not righteous, guys. We go through some time every day we're climbing the ladders. We fall, we get up again. And so as we talk about marriage, let us that we have an obligation. Communication becomes the bedrock of any relationship. So it's not something that we can just get up in the morning and say, I just want to talk to this guy today. I just feel like talking to this woman today. That means you have options. I don't think that I need to talk to him or to her this whole day. Maybe until tomorrow, maybe until next week. I'm sorry. That is not love. That is not, we got to understand that There where the problem can start from, and we don't kick it out our life, and we get into the marriage, and then it become a problem. Then we want to divorce. With the experience we have, and I was discussing the last time, communication makes it very essential when you can communicate with your spouse, especially when a prophet or a man of God, maybe your pastor who is shepherding you as a woman, as a female, and maybe you take some, have level of respect for your pastor you have, and you call him daddy, and you got married to this guy, but you don't communicate what the pastor communicate to you because of some reason that you don't want to confide into your husband, and you believe in the pastor more than your husband. So it's a crack in the wall. You see why communication is very important? So when there's a crack in the walls, then the enemy penetrate your marriage and then tear you down. It comes to separation, it comes to confusion. Many marriages today are in trouble because of false prophecy. Communication is so important. That's why communication is important. When people communicate different information to you, and you fail to relate that information and be very much sincere to yourself and your spouse that you are trying to date, the prophecy could be true that maybe this guy probably maybe he doesn't have any money, maybe he doesn't have love for you. He just trying to go to bed. Going to bed is just a meaning. Like I was listening, I can jump out of my car right now. Somebody call me. I say, I come in, wait for me to the hotel. I go, have some good time, right? And did you see me? No. Only God sees me. But that time I have, that 1 minute I had with that woman, it passed. When I got out of that hotel, it means when I leave that hotel, or you a woman, when you leave that hotel, it is a different time. You stay feeling something coming back. If it was negative, they go against you, right? But you left the hotel. How many of us forgot to know something when it comes to communication? How many of us have not had good opportunity of meeting good people before we met our husband or wife? Communication is so sensitive. I love for people to communicate to me, and I love for communication to be open, because what happened, I can tell you, well, I don't have to go into the relationship because this is what I think. Or you might tell me, well, I don't have to go into the relationship because I think if I go into it, I'm not going to feel fine. You see what communication does, right? Or probably I feel insecure. There are a lot of things involved when it comes to relationship. Remember that you're giving your life to this woman, and this woman is giving her life to you. Even people who go into league of friendship, just the friendship they've been living together for some time, and that is life. You're giving your life to that woman, and the woman giving her life to you. You're going to bed together, forgetting about yourself, because why? You choose to love. Love covers everything. So in Christendom, we believe that in building the relationship, communication is so important. We overlook communication because we think that going to bed, just, oh man, I just want to be with this guy tonight. Well, you don't know what is between him. He has some girls up there that he love, and he's a promiscuous guy. If you choose to go in his life, you may make your choice. And don't forget about the consequences. So that where we are when we come to communication. Then we many guys come up here crying, and sometimes when they go to a pastor and the pastor betray them, sometimes some of the guys don't take sides. Some of the pastors are just promiscuous, right? They don't take side. Then after that, we come on Facebook and we start dashing up and batching them up and talking about them, bringing their issue outside. Why? Because we make that choice. Because of lack of communication. Sometimes communication comes and we say, like, I don't mind, no problem, right? But when we get into it, it becomes a problem. And then sometimes when we talking some guys who probably in ministry and some of them married, they've been in the marriage for maybe 30 years. The bishop and pastors been in the marriage for long, but they have destroyed many marriages. They are breaking married homes. Why people believe in them? Because what happened? Somebody was saying, I can't go to a pastor who is not married, right? So you are missing something good, because the problem is that individual differences and the call of God upon pastors who you are overlooking, and you're going to people who are destroying your marriage. Communication is very important. So you're not communicating. You don't want to know about whether the pastor lied to many marriages have been broken because of him or her. We know all these things. Women in ministry, some of them, well, they are single and they're very nice, they're very good, and they protect you, and they speak for you more than people who are married. And I tell people, check me up. I like to talk for myself, because I will tell you the truth. I have not broken anybody's home, and I would never break it. None of my daughter would tell me that. Nobody will ever, with my experience in ministry. So God have pulled the anointing upon me to do what I'm doing here. There are many bishops and leaders in the world today that are breaking home because communication lacking. The wife or the wife to be have decided to confide into that man, even if the man tell her that your husband to be is not a good guy. So because he has interest in that lady, she goes to the church, he's married to this wife, he's keeping his home, he covered him under the marriage and breaking many homes. Because many of us, if not all of us, on this social media, we have not opened our eyes to see the reality of who is going to help me to get to my destiny. So we confide into people based on, oh, glory. We see the churches be, oh, I like this guy church. This guy can prophesy. But the prophet that you go to have destroyed more than, I don't know, 100 homes. Women are crying on prophet or men of God. Only because of the name. Only because of the church. Only because people go there. So we spoil our pastor's name. We don't believe in Christian marriage. We don't believe in communication. When somebody tells you something, we don't believe it. We don't do spiritual mapping to check whether it was good. So we go to this pastor's church. We talk about our marriage. We talk about our spouse. And this pastor take it and come back and prophesy over you. And then you feel fine and say, well, this God is not a guy for you. Sometimes it could be true if he's a good prophet or she's a good prophet. A woman will tell you, well, this guy, you bring him, let me pray for him. When you bring your own husband to be, he take him from you. You see, so why am I saying this? We need to understand, as we build up our Christian relationship with God, we must first of all connect with God. Have a deep communication with the God we serve. Because it's a foundation that God have said it before. Relationship is a foundation. So Christians should always go by the principles. Many homes have been broken today because we confide into people who are in ministry and who are married with their wife, enjoying their wife, and they're breaking other people's homes. I don't want to name pastors here. It's not ethical, right? I don't want to name bishop yet, but those of us who are listening here, there are many pastors and bishops today in the world with their wife in their homes that they have been with for 30 years. Now, why am I saying this? I'm saying this because there are some people who don't realize that some pastors, mother, woman, male or female, pastor, are on their social media or somewhere, and we look down on them because maybe they are not in their marriage or they are not married. So we say, I can't let any pastor who not married to cancel me, right? But we go to the one who married to counsel us, and they break our heart. So all we need to do, pray for God to give us the spirit of discernment. Let God lead us. Communication is very important. Prayer is communicating with God. Communicating with your spouse, the one that you say you want to marry. Have some time communicating with them. More than just a pastor. Have some time praying along with your spouse. Praying together. Don't believe in every pastor, every man of God. Don't even believe in me until you see, until you ask God to give you eyes to see. Don't. It's not just about masquerading. It's not just about coming on social media. It's about the reality. So you look up to this person because of the communication between you and your spouse. You are building up a solid relationship. So you listen to another person telling you, this guy is not a good guy. I know him from, from the time we're small, and and you listen to that person, not knowing that the guy that he's talking about, 10 years ago, this guy was converted, or 3 years ago, he was converted, or this woman that they are talking about being maybe a woman that like to go all over the place. Maybe she has been converted and very strong in the faith. And somebody told you, well, one of the friends told you, don't get in your life like that girl, that so girl. It could be your wife. You guys need to sit down and communicate well. How's your children? And there will be a very full relationship with your children, with the family. Once you get to a certain level, if you can't see that flow of communication, don't trust this person. Don't trust them. You see, you can be playing with somebody and you just fooling yourself, waiting for, oh yeah, okay, I like this person here. But the communication is not, it's not consistent. It's just manipulative. It's just something that to keep up time. If you notice it, ask God for discernment. Every time you go into communication, notice how the communication is placed. Notice what is the body language. You got to understand all the, if you have not, some of us not really understand how to read body language, communication and body language, some of the things. Even in speeches, in how people communicate with us first, and after a certain time, the communication changes. Why did it change after 3 months, after 4 months? When we started communicating, why it was good? Why it is changing now? Why it used to be this way? So, so there are many of us in marriage or want to get into people's life. We don't communicate. We just come on Facebook. Hello, how you doing? Hello, how you doing? And all of us, oh yeah, I like you, man. How you doing? And come on Facebook, and like you. And all the time you guys communicating, like you, like you, like you. But the deep things that will make you to know whether you can get into that relationship have not been discovered. And then you get rise up one morning, say, I'm coming to Liberia, or I want us to meet so. And you go and meet up with somebody the first day, and it become a problem. It become a problem. So I want us to realize, as we talk about Christian family, marriage, and intimacy, on the side of intimacy, and as I conclude today's teaching or podcast, I want us to have some reflection on the word intimacy and on the word sex. Communication in sex is very powerful. We have lost that. Many of us, many men, many women have lost that. We don't communicate with our spouses what is better, what you love. So we break the relationship. Better to go outside to find somebody else because my husband cannot satisfy me. And so you break the marriage only because of that reason. And the person you are breaking the marriage with not going to marry you. And I was listening to, I saw, many times we on Facebook, we see some of the things here, and Sonia, TV. It's a wonderful thing to see sometimes with the other guys. Some women are faithful. They defend their husband. They don't want to go to bed because of $3 million or naira and all that. So communication played a key role. So how do we communicate with our wife when it comes to intimacy, sex? I'm going to bed. I really love you, and but this is what I don't like about you, right? You guys are married. Remember that. But before you got into the marriage, this woman had a lot of experience with different relationships. Remember that. And also, you woman, you women, you are probably girls. You know very well within yourself. That's what makes communication so important. You have communicated. You know that you are gotten into different relationship before you met your real guy who want to take your hands. But this guy have not gone through what you went through. Christian family, marriage, and intimacy, sex, which play a very key role into any relationship. That's why we overlook to have this crucial relationship. I mean, communication with before we can get into it. Seriously, sometimes it becomes a disaster after into the marriage. We don't want to tell the guy, or the guy is not experienced like the other guys we met that treat us very nice, but they didn't marry us. We found the guy who took us, probably I could say some of the took the shame, disgrace. You are proud now. He makes you proud, but you want to disgrace him. Instead of you communicating with your spouse to tell the person, look, I know that you are not experiencing too much, like maybe in your own heart, you don't have to tell him. Okay? But listen to me. I love you to the rest of my life. That's what I got to. You married me. You took me, you make me proud. So I want you to do this. I want us to do this. Our communication is so important. So that you cannot be breaking the marriage only because, well, of going to bed. You should also remember to be patient with the person that you're getting married to because they are not experienced like you experience. And that's what most of us have forgotten. The guys is not experienced like you experience. You have experienced great thing, and you have experienced something that he did not experience, but you got into his life. So you got to express gratitude, and you got to understand where you come from, so that communication with him will make him to know that you really care and you care to love in this marriage. You care to keep this marriage. You care to build this marriage, and you care to love him. No matter whether he was not doing the right like you used to do rightly, but you choose to get married to this guy. I don't think that you come into marriage because you want to cover it up. And I think that, and from what we see for many times, many women might be covering up and not really want to get into marriage. Maybe the guy is easy. He's not going to take some steps. So you sneak and doing some things, and you come back and say, oh, honey, I like you, right? We know this. So the better for you to be alone if you don't have communication flowing before you get into the relationship. Communication in the sense that will make you to know your spouse, will make your spouse to know you and to learn you. Love is so it's something that covers everything. So why can't we be open up? But we rather open up to our pastors than to our husband, the one who want to take our hands. Remember that pastor has his wife, and they're been in a relationship in a marriage. He kept that marriage. They're dead. They're enjoying themselves, but he's destroying other people's marriage only because of lack of communication with you and your spouse. So in Christian marriage, we don't look at that to be very important. What is important is between you and your husband. Your pastor is your spiritual head, but he's not the one that will direct you, because probably he don't want you to marry to this guy, because if you marry to this guy, the way you giving your tithe and offering, the seed that you're sowing into this life, you might not sow those seeds again. Those are other factors. I'm just giving you some little experience that I have, that many good women today have missed their husband because they lack communication, especially with the spouse that they want to choose to get married to. So we need to look at all that and also understand that when we go into marriage, when we go into covenant with our spouses, we shouldn't downplay the word covenant. Covenant must be kept. It's a sacred thing. And we get into the marriage, we can keep the covenant, we can keep it going, and we can be better. And I want to encourage those of us who probably are dating and trying to get into marriage. Young people, try to do your spiritual mapping. Maybe this girl has a problem. You gotta trace it. You gotta understand. You gotta do good communication. You don't just see somebody out there, they're beautiful. You see them with a car. You see them, you just jump in their life. You got to have communication. They come to church, all of you dancing, everybody happy. Every time we come to dress, they're fine. Oh, this girl, I know her father, man. We don't just go into it. We got to understand that marriage play a very crucial role. And if we must go into it, we must ask ourselves the question, what are we going into? Is it proper for us to go into it? Is it, am I prepared to go into it? Is it timing? Communicate with your partner. Make sure that he loves you. Make sure that he cares for you. Make sure she cares for you. And it's not based on manipulating you, trying to make you to feel that she loves you. I mean, really, seriously. If anyone thinks, well, because somebody is calling them, somebody is, maybe trying to help them with a little dime, somebody is doing something, so then they can go in the life of this person to get married, probably marriage in different form. Or I want to marry because I have opportunity. Different people marry for different reasons. But I'm talking about in Christian marriage. When you find your wife, the Bible says you have found a great thing. It said you obtain what? Favor from God. So I want to encourage us as we go through this time. Let us remember that not everybody you see can be the good husband. Not everybody you see can be a good wife. So every time I think about people who does not look at God as a partner in the marriage, who does not understand that God should be in the center of our marriage. No matter whether we just dating, we need to put God in our marriage. So God bless you. And just look up, see communication in your marriage. What is good to communicate, or what is something that you're not supposed to do. And I love you, man. I love those of us who are turning up. I want you to know that you cannot and should not depend on any woman or man who does not communicate consistently with words that seems to be a word that makes you to feel that this person loves you. Be slow to speak, to take decisions. In my last word. In Christian marriage, we have the foundation. That's why we said prudent from Genesis chapter 1:26. When you go to First Corinthians, you see chapter 11. You see how Christian marriage is all about. So today, as we look at communication to be the key, building a relationship together with all communication is a broken relationship. I will tell you the truth, it's broken. When somebody tells you something about your husband, especially when it comes to your marriage, in order to protect that marriage, you must be very careful, because many marriages have broken only because Communication is lacking. And I want to thank God for those of us who are watching, man. Love your husband, love your wife. Do everything to save your marriage because the enemy, the adversary, is after our marriages. And if we're not careful, it's going
A topic that's often whispered about but rarely discussed openly: the role of regular sex in Christian relationships.